I'll be out in Seattle next Monday and Tuesday. Been a long time since I've been to that great city. Any tips? Please let me know. And this is your morning Buzzcast for Tuesday, July 15th. I'm Abe Madkour. MLB's All-Star game tonight, Tuesday. It's a big week for the Atlanta Braves. Remember, they were supposed to host the 2021 All-Star game before that event was pulled by baseball due to voting laws in Georgia. So there'll be a lot of interesting storylines tonight. There were last night for the Home Run Derby. Some of the storyline will be around the Battery, which of course is the Braves' really crown jewel of mixed use. The Braves tonight have a great opportunity to showcase Truist Park and all of the development nearby Truist Park, and they can showcase it on a national stage. It's the first time Atlanta has hosted the All-Star game in 25 years, and the first time, of course, at Truist Park, which opened in 2017. It really is a great place to host an All-Star event. Restaurants, shops, hotels, the Battery is entirely owned by the Braves and, of course, has been wildly successful, both on the commercial front, but on the fan experience front. And it's such a model for other organizations. There have been lines of other sports organizations wanting to pick the brain of the Braves, wanting a tour of the Battery, wanting to learn from the Battery. The Braves basically couldn't see everybody and almost had to set up long-standing appointments to see other teams who wanted to learn about the secret sauce of Truist Park and the mixed-use development. There was a really interesting story Monday in USA Today about the history of the development that is really a good read and worth your time. The Battery's been such a revenue driver for the Braves, bringing in nearly $70 million in 2024, almost 9 million visitors to the Battery. Remember, that is revenue the Atlanta Braves do not have to share with their baseball brethren. I bet we'll hear a lot about the Battery tonight. Meanwhile, last night for the Home Run Derby, a feel-good story. Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh made history, becoming the first catcher and the first switch hitter to win the Home Run Derby. I thought it was a great family moment. His dad, Todd, was pitching to him. His younger brother, Todd Jr., was catching and constantly encouraging him. So it was a fun story for ESPN. As we look at tonight, here's what to look for. First, ticket prices are reportedly the highest in over a decade for the All-Star game. Average price for Tuesday's game, around $1,100. We'll have the debut of the automated ball strike system, where there can be player challenges during the game. Also, Fox did well with its ad sales. It sold out inventory of roughly 80 commercials for the game last month in June. 30-second spots, roughly $750,000 to $850,000. That's according to Adweek. When it comes to viewership tonight, Fox and MLB hope to outperform last year. The game last year averaged about 7.4 million viewers, which was one of the lowest All-Star games on record. We'll see, with all the energy behind baseball so far this season, if they can top last year's number. Meanwhile, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred, MLBPA Executive Director Tony Clark will both meet the media today, Tuesday. Expect a lot of questions about labor and CBA negotiations. Tony Clark said Monday that any push by baseball's owners to implement a salary cap system would take the game backwards. His point is that baseball is growing, moving in the right direction. Attendance is up, viewership is up, and he wants to talk about building and growing the game rather than, quote, how to go backwards, end quote, with a salary cap system. I'm sure we'll hear more kind of saber rattling over the next day or so. Meanwhile, talking about a baseball team specifically, the sale of the Tampa Bay Rays from current owner Stu Sternberg to a group led by a Jacksonville developer for about $1.7 billion has been agreed to in principle, and it's expected to close as soon as September. This is big news. And this is according to The Athletic. Of course, the Rays have been an issue for baseball Baseball's league office and other owners have pushed for Stu Sternberg to sell the team. He has been unable to make any progress around a new ballpark, and they just believe new blood is critical. So there's a Jacksonville developer named Patrick Zalewski, and he is expected to keep the team in Tampa. His strong preference is Tampa over St. Petersburg. Part of this group is Ken Babby. Many of you know Ken Babby. He owns a pair of minor league baseball teams, the Akron Rubber Ducks and the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. He is a good operator. He is part of this group that has agreed in principle to buy the team from Stu Sternberg for $1.7 billion. Stu Sternberg bought the team for $200 million in 2004. So in just over 20 years, a pretty good return for Stu Sternberg. Let's move on from baseball. The NBA Board of Governors, they meet this week in Las Vegas, and we may get some more clarity on possible expansion. But SBJ's Tom Friend, my colleague, reports from Vegas that with the Portland Trail Blazers formally up for sale, sources believe the NBA wants to wait to see the purchase price before really moving forward with expansion talks. Expansion talks will be with Seattle, Las Vegas, and certainly other markets. But there is a belief that the Blazers could sell for a minimum of a valuation of $4 billion, which could impact any expansion fee. We've said before on the Buzzcast, owners want an expansion fee of $5 billion or more. And the larger issue is how it would be paid out to the teams. Would it be one lump sum? Would it be doled out over a number of years? That's an issue to be decided with expansion. They want to see if the Blazers get sold at what valuation. That could dictate expansion fees going forward. Also on the agenda, they'll talk about plans for NBA Europe, and they'll also talk, of course, about the local media model and the long-term strategy around local media. Monday was another day where we saw more investment around women's sports as the startup NWSL team, Boston Legacy FC, announced plans to build a team performance center in Brockton, Massachusetts. Quite impressive. Privately financed, nearly $30 million facility. They hope to break ground in August, complete construction by January. Remember, this team launches next March. And this is a big investment into a women's startup soccer team. There'll be 6 fields, a performance center, room for 80-plus staff members, locker rooms, film rooms, kitchen, dining facility, players' lounge. This will have all the amenities players love. Remember, Boston Legacy will play its first season at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough before White Stadium is completed for the 2027 season. Also, Boston Legacy FC has retained Excel Sports, which is the club's sales agency of record. They'll sell naming rights to the training facility. Meanwhile, the team got a new investor, Aaliyah Boston from the WNBA's Indiana Fever. She is a 3-time All-Star. She grew up in Massachusetts, and she bought an undisclosed limited stake in Boston Legacy FC, so the team is rounding out its ownership cap table. And let's end with this. There is an interesting story and debate going on in the Midwest over the future of the Chiefs and the Royals. I'm sure you've been aware of this, but it's really starting to heat up, and it's quite interesting. Both of these organizations are being pitched for new facilities, and it's a battle between Missouri and neighboring Kansas. And there is a real political debate now, specifically in the state of Kansas, over whether the Chiefs or the Royals would be a better fit in the state. So even though political leaders want to lure both teams across the Missouri border into Kansas, there is some debate between local leaders and state leaders in the state of Kansas about what team would be better. Just so you know, there is a big public subsidy that is out there in the state of Kansas. So in theory, they could build 2 new facilities, a new venue for the Chiefs, a new ballpark for the Royals. But they have a Senate president who believes the Chiefs should be the state's priority. There is a Democratic governor who some believe favors the Royals. There's a debate over the number of home games and which would have more of an economic impact and what type of other events you can land if you build a new stadium or ballpark. We do have some ways to go here. But this is turning into, like I said, a very interesting debate, discussion, and a storyline of whether these two really historic teams stay in Missouri or go across the border to the state of Kansas. Keep your eye on it. It's worth watching. And that is your morning Buzzcast for Tuesday, July 15th. I'm Abe Madkour. Thanks for listening. Stay healthy. Be good to each other. I'll speak to you tomorrow.